Hello everybody, Mikey the Panzernator here with a scene that you see way too often. A tier 8 ship with not many other tier 8s, down tiered and in a tough situation. Yeah, today the game not so great, but the complaint, well, basically I just kind of played this game to get a replay and it was serviceable, but more than that, we need to talk about tier 8 matchmaking and all of that. So I chose the Prinz Eugen because Ouija's advertising and making Armada videos. The Prinz Eugen is available in the premium shop as of the time of recording and uploading of this video, but yeah, I just haven't been playing as much Warships as I would like to, because it's not as enjoyable anymore, and a big part of that is the tier 8 matchmaking. I mean, more often than not, you're bottom tier in a tier 10 game, and some ships like this one I'm in now, very good ships if they're top tier, decent ships even if it's, you know, in a game with tier 9s, but against tier 10s you just can't hold, you know, being low tier, you just can't hold your own. I mean, I don't know if the game needs to be rebalanced or matchmaking needs to be redone, but you know, it's just not what it used to be. I mean, something feels different. Either we're in either tier 8s or bottom tier more often, or just the balance and power creep is making it where being a tier 10 or being in a tier 10 game as a tier 8 ship is getting worse and worse and worse. Now, one thing I'm gonna link in the description is Victim Raid, who you will know from the streams, kind of, you know, second in command of the clan, sends in a lot of replays. I do a bunch of his videos or showcase a bunch of his games on this channel in this weekly Wednesday time slot. He made a post on Reddit about a week ago and sent it to me, and I just want to read that to you. Well, okay, you know, you can watch the gameplay here. I mean, what is it? Harugama is a tier 10? Yeah, like, you know, look, armor-piercing shells, high-caliber guns, and just, okay. Whatever, I know my aim sucks, but anyways, let's read Victim Raid's post. The title says, "I know it's oversaid, but I've never posted about it, and I've been playing since CBT, and I'm getting pretty sick of it. Please, WG, fix tier 8 matchmaking so that it isn't bottom in tier 10 games constantly." So let us begin as I try to dodge shells and don't do a whole lot of damage because destroyers are evil. I know it's oversaid, but I've never posted about it. I've been playing since CBT and I'm getting pretty sick of it. Please, WG, fix tier 8 matchmaking so that it isn't bottom tier in tier 10 games constantly. Tier 8 just isn't fun, which is a shame because that is where a lot of the best premium ships are, as well as many of the best, in my opinion, silver ships are. Remember, I remember years ago playing in tier 8, and honestly it was my favorite tier to play. Back when the German battleship line came out and Bismarck was fresh and new, tier 8 was a blast. These days, for me at least, tier 8 is an almost constant bottom tier in a tier 10 game experience, many times being the only tier 8 in a game full of tier 10s. Many people say, just play tier 10 ships then, which I do, but I want to play tier 8 ships. It's just a shame tier 8 isn't an enjoyable experience anymore. Feel free to downvote or whatever, I just need to vent about it. Ships is my most played and favorite game, not to mention expensive in my case, haha, and it kinda hurts not to enjoy it as much as I used to anymore. Back to either playing nothing but tier 10s and occasionally seal clubbing in tier 5 and below, I guess. So yeah, I missed watching myself do only about 5,800 hit points in damage, but I think Victim hit the nail on the head in that post. It's just not what it used to be. I mean, you know, tier 8 used to, I mean, tier 8, I think this is even by design by Wargaming. Tier 8 is like what the game centers around, right? Because tier 9 and 10 ships, well, definitely tier 10 ships, they aren't economically feasible, so a lot of times you'll lose credits whenever you play tier 10 ships unless you have a godly game. So the game's kind of designed so that, you know, it's not just everyone playing in tier 10s all the time, where you're going to want to play tier 9 and tier 8. And because of that, well, tier 8 ships are kind of important because, well, you know, that's what you expect most of your higher level long-time players are going to be playing. And if you lose your core base, well, or if your core base isn't enjoying playing the game, like is the case with Victim and I as of the past couple weeks, then there's a big problem. I mean, first of all, the amount of money that people dump into premium ships, because tier 8 is where most of the, like you said, most of the best premium ships are. And I mean, most of the recognizable ships in the game are tier 8. I mean, just off the top of my head, the Kid, the Alabama, the Kutuzov, the Enterprise, the Bismarck, the Tirpitz, the Vanguard, the Kaga, what other, trying to think of like historical ships, or, you know, your North Carolina in silver, the Bismarck, the Cleveland is a tier 8 ship. I mean, you just look at the ships that are slotted at tier 8, and it's the best, you know, it's kind of the ships from World War II. Tier 9, you get to your Juggernauts and, you know, your Iowas and the Fletchers and kind of the late war, you know, developed during the warships. But tier 8 is like, tier 8 is the meat and potatoes of the game, right? Tier 7 will too, with your Scharnhorst and your Hood and Colorado and Arizona's tier 6, but you know, but the point I'm getting at is World of Warships is a World War II naval battles game. Yes, the lower tiers are World War I or interwar ships, or even pre-World War I ships in the case of like the Albany or the South Carolina and all that. But the reason people get into World of Warships, at least the reason I got into World of Warships, is World War II era naval ships. And as I've said, most of the iconic World War II ships are at tier 8. Like, even the Japanese, the Amagi and the, shoot, what's it, is it the Miyogi? It's the Miyogi or the Miyoko, but I mean, you know, those are like, that is the Japanese name. I mean, the ships that, you know, more often than not, the most famous ships that people learn about are at tier 8. The Roma, for an Italian premium ship. And again, they're premium ships. People should enjoy paying for stuff. I mean, I'm not advocating for pay to win, but you shouldn't punish people who spend money on the game. I mean, it should be fair, and if anything, honestly, it should be skewed a little bit towards people that pay. I mean, I'm not saying make it overpowered, but I mean, I'd rather the issue get fixed for everyone, but it definitely shouldn't be, this definitely shouldn't be an issue for premium owners. I mean, because, you know, these are the people that pay your bills, wargaming. I mean, people like me, people like Victim, who've spent more money than we would like to admit on World of Warships. And tier 8's supposed to be where it's at. It's supposed to be the most fun part of the game. So I don't know what the solution is. I mean, I remember back in the day when matchmaking top to bottom was ±2, right? So as a tier, or, you know, maybe it's ±1, but like as a tier 3, you could have to deal with tier 5s, or tier 4, you'd have to deal with tier 6s. And I don't know when they changed it, but they changed it to where it was ±1 up until tier 5, which tier 5 is also a crucial tier, because that's when you start to get the differentiation of the classes and the national identities and the unique ships and all that. So I mean, tier 5 matchmaking in its own right is, I mean, maybe not as big of an issue as tier 8, but part of me just thinks you either need to go back to ±2, but which won't solve the issue, but it'll also make it problematic at lower tiers as well, or you need to go ±1. If you're tier 8, you can only see tier 9s or tier 7s, but never both. Maybe that's the situation. I've always said, and Victim mentions this in his post, that, I mean, like, right now, let's see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So half the ships are tier 8, which, you know, is better than most, but, I mean, there's also, you know, a lot of tier 10, so tier 9's kind of in the minority. I mean, I think you need almost like a super majority, or, you know, at least half, if not more, of the ships probably even more of the ships to be low tier if you're going to do 2-tier matchmaking, and then, you know, a handful of ships at the middle tier, and then maybe like 1 ship at high tier. I mean, yeah, that's unfair to the ship at high tier, but I mean, just look at me in this Prinz Eugen. I mean, I'm doing decent. I'm playing pretty scared because of the firepower that's up against me, and honestly, I'm not doing a whole lot because I'm playing scared. I'm a tier 8 and tier 10 game. I mean, that could be me. That could have been me. But I mean, I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments. And I've also missed a couple of the weekly streams, but that's more because of schoolwork and you know, just life getting busy. But just, I mean, in the free time I have, I'm not as excited to play Warships as I am other games, and it's partially because of this matchmaking. I mean, it's kind of the deal with these you know, multiplayer games where if your first game isn't fun, you know, you kind of like, maybe this is a waste of time. You know, you haven't sunk that much time into it. So you're like, okay, you know what? Maybe I should just cut my losses and, you know, go play Hearts of Iron or Fork Knife or, you know, PUBG or just something else, right? Or hell, go do your damn homework, clean your room. I mean, do something different. But I want to like World of Warships. I want to play this game and have fun, but it's just not as fun whenever you're up tier. And it seems that more often than not, and maybe this is because, I mean, maybe the solution is more complicated than I think. Maybe it's you have to rebalance the economy of tier 10. And honestly, I think even if tier 10 were profitable, I wouldn't want to play tier 10 as often as tier 8, right? I mean, tier 10, it almost gets a little too cookie cutter. There aren't really any tier 10 premiums other than, like, I don't know, Stalingrad or, you know, rare silver, not silver, steel type ships. And this destroyer still might kill you, jackass. But, you know, tier 10, I mean, tier 8 is where I think there's, you know, tier 7 and 8 I think is where you have the most variety in the game. You have your Bismarck and your tier pits with your crazy secondary builds and the torpedoes and the tier pits. You have the Prinz Eugen. Tier 7, you have your Atlanta, which is unique. You have your Belfast. You have your Scharnhorst. I mean, those are some, you know, some kooky ships and everything, and that's what I think is fun. I mean, in terms of destroyers, you have the Kid, which is a lot of fun, and that Harugamo just got a double strike. But I mean, look at what this Harugamo did to 2 tier 8 ships right there. I mean, that Bismarck and that Vanguard, like, dude, come on, what's going on here? And I just can't help but agree with them. It's tier 8 matchmaking, I think, is the root cause, but World of Warships just hasn't been my game. Maybe in the next update we'll change that. I have noticed sometimes it's update to update, right? Some updates it'll just be the best game ever and I can't step away, and some updates it'll be I just can't put it together. I mean, I can't pinpoint why it is. Part of it's because I'm just not good, but this game just is not what it used to be. At least it doesn't seem like it's what it used to be. Victim, I guess I have to thank him for his post as is tradition. But I mean, yeah, look, this, you know, this is a decent game considering the situation, but only 62,000 damage on 103 hits. I mean, I was doing HE the entire time because, well, they can repel firepower of my magnitude. Only got a kill on that nice torpedo run. Third player only has 62,000 damage. I mean, wasn't that big of a swipe, but anyhow, I mean, like, look, this Harugamo and the Donsko, I mean, I'm the highest up tier 8, and I don't know, something doesn't feel right. Also, why does it show the aircraft when I'm not an aircraft carrier? Like, can we not show aircraft whenever it's a surface ship wargaming? Thank you. But I hope something's done about this. I hope it just starts to change. Let me know what you think. Please feel free to chime in the Reddit thread that Victim started. I'm sure he'll love to hear from you too. But yeah, and send in your replays because I'm not getting any good ones. I hope you all enjoyed this discussion. If you did, be sure to leave a like, consider subscribing to the channel. And again, let me know what you think in the comments. Let's talk this out. But anyways, hope to see you on the next one. Until then, this is Mikey der Panzernator signing out. See ya, nerds.